of April, Wednesday. We are live at the New York Stock Market morning session. Glad that everybody can join us.
Last day of the month.
And everyone can see my screen properly and so forth, yes?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
You're on the
looks
daily.
like we've had quite a drop in the markets here this morning. We had some red news, and those.
And we have red news coming up at 10 o'clock too.
As well. Okay, so what do we had for ADP non-farm employment change in GDP employment change in employment cost index, and then at 10 we have PPI coming out. So that's not good. And pending home sales. Wow. Crude oil inventories. There's a lot of news coming out here.
Yeah. Today is a news day. That's for sure.
Yeah. So quite. It's going to be quite an interesting day, and it has been already in the markets. A quick look at the U.S. Dollar versus the euro, which is euro is at the bottom, U.S. dollar at the top, and we're still very much sideways. Not much change in the U.S. dollar really on the news. But if I look at the U.S. dollar just real quickly, I'm going to go down to the hourly. There hasn't been much change.
Yeah, really. It's gone up slightly, really.
But overall, I'm talking we're in this huge choppy affair.
Been in a long wave 4, I would say.
Yeah, so we've got a 1-2 up here when we dropped. So the trajectory for the dollar is to the downside. So it's just choppy right now. All right, so a look at the NAS. And this is what's transpired since this morning with news at 8:30 Eastern, which was right at this point in here. And we had, I'm not sure which one caused the fall.
Pardon?
I'm not sure which of the news items caused the fall.
Well, GDP was the big one, but we have unemployment in there from ADP also. I mean, everything has been kicking the indices down.
So on the non-farm employment change was quite down compared to what they forecasted.
Yeah,
forecast was quite high.
Up for the indices.
Yeah, so that could have caused a kerfuffle there, and it did. Okay, so remember from yesterday when we were looking at the charts, I was pointing out that my expectation was that we would be coming down. I've marked it all out already from previous, that we'd hit this level here, we'd go up, and we'd be coming back down. I'm looking to take out this low down here. However, yesterday I thought we were starting to do that, and instead they went up one more time.
Yep.
So the expectation from yesterday that we would start doing that is playing out today. So interestingly, now we've got a 1, 2, 3 top, so you can see that we could start coming down. And this is unfortunate. I didn't really want to see this happening, but the charts are bearing me out because I've marked it. And you remember from this point here, we have a 1, 2, 3. We went up, went down, up. So now the expected move is for them to come and take out this low. And now we have a 1, 2, 3 top, like I'm saying. So we could see at least a retracement of this entire leg here, and more. So my expectation is that we will come down and take out the low, possibly, right?
Where's the 1, 2, 3 top, Lennox?
Okay, so if I'm on the 4-hour there. You were saying that on the weekly time frame, you're seeing a 1, 2, 3 bottom. And,
on the S&P 500.
Yeah, they're both the same.
Well, they're both the same, really.
S&P and NASDAQ are the same thing. So the charts are almost identical at this point. So
Actually, you see it on the daily chart, 1 through 3 bottom.
Yeah, you can't see it on the weekly very well. On the daily, I'm not sure where you're calling this the 1, 2, 3 or this whole thing.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't call that a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and the reason why is because we have a 1, 2, 3 top up here, so we have this drop and drop. So we're kind of in a choppy affair here. So
okay, I see that. Okay.
And if we go to the 4-hour, we'll see that again very clearly that what you're calling a 1, 2, 3 is actually there's a 1, 2, 3 here. We went up and back down and then up again. So expected for them to take out this high, and they have. And then now I'm expecting them to come back and take out this low at this point. So
okay,
that's the kind of trajectory that I'm looking at.
Okay, I see that.
Okay, so now where the 1, 2, 3 top is, if we go down to the hourly, you can see it quite clearly now. So there's the 1, 2, 3 top, and we're on our way down. So we could expect this morning a little bit of a bounce, perhaps, and then continuation to the downside. So they've already swept this low, and so these equal lows would be next in line. And yeah, so since we have more news coming up in at the top of the hour, it should be interesting to see how this plays out here. So there we go. So on the 15-minute, so this whole thing is a 1, 2, 3 top. We're now in a third wave going down. So I can mark this. Let me go back up to the hourly, and I'm going to mark this 1, 2, 3 top with calculate where the expected move should take us, at least in the short term. So we're already at that first area of target. And if we go back up to the 4-hour, we can't even measure how far down we're going to go, really. So yeah, it's not even worthwhile putting it on there. So, okay. So on the 5-minute,
it should go down 50% on that last chart.
Yes. So here we are on the 5-minute, and at the end of this choppy sideways move, we got a 1, 2, 3, another one dropping. So we're looking for this bounce right now, where we're going to bounce to. Let me go back to the 15. I'm going to mark off this big gap that's staring us in the face right here. So this looks like a...
Lennox, excuse me 1 minute. Timothy is on Skype. Did you invite him to Teams?
I did, but okay, I'll try again. Every time I do, he keeps saying he's leaving, so I'm not sure. You can keep trying him for me if you like, George.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. I'll try.
He says he's watching on YouTube, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So right now we're getting a little bit of a bounce. We've got about 5 minutes before the market opens. So what are they going to do at the open here now? Since we've dropped all this way. So for what's interesting here is that yesterday when I'm going to go back up again to the 15-minute time frame. We look at yesterday's session, and I thought that at that point we might have hit the top and so forth, and I was looking for this, to possibly continue down, and instead they went back up and took out the highs, and it's the expectation is that we're going to be coming down, but they just weren't finished. They didn't get their quota of orders, and so all night, they go up and they take everybody out up here now. So it's what I said that makes this very difficult for everybody, is that you have an expectation and sometimes it's just not met, and you have to be able to flow with the market. You have to be able to change your analysis, change your mind, and go with them. Because if you just sit thinking that, oh yeah, you're right, you're not. It's not going to happen for you. So,
exactly.
we looked at Tesla yesterday, and the thought, look at Tesla is rocking up right now. Yesterday we thought Tesla was going to collapse down to 270 area, and they did come close to that area. Yes, I thought we would come down one more time.
If you look at all the charts, the 4-hour, weekly, daily, and so on, we're in a gigantic wave 4.
Yes.
So yeah, the price went up yesterday, but I still see us in wave 4. So
yes,
my expectation is we're going down on Tesla. If you look at the weekly chart.
Well, I thought we would come down a little bit more yesterday from this area, but instead they have gone.
Are you still there?
Yes, I am. I'm just Armin is calling here.
Okay.
Armin, maybe Armin, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Yes, could you perhaps in the future just type in the chat that you're here instead of calling, because it's calling.
I will do that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, so yeah, the expectation of Tesla yesterday falling a little further down, they came down to where an expected level, but you thought maybe okay, there's a little bit more room for them to drop, but they don't. They go all the way back up, and so again, you have to kind of go with the flow. You can't stick to your analysis that they're going to go down there, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you have to be able to move with the flow. All right, we've got about another couple of minutes before the market opens. So I'm on the 1 minute time frame now, looking at this this is a 15-minute gap right here, and there's the middle of the gap. So it looks like they want to perhaps go up into the middle here, and we could see another collapse here to the downside. So I do have a 1, 2, 3 bottom.
It's
Here, and we're moving.
We could have a very dynamic opening too.
Yeah, it's
a
hard
lot
to
of
say.
people anticipated they were going down and some going up.
All we can do now is wait and see what happens here at the open, because just not sure what's going to happen at this point. And my expectation is that we get a bounce anyways. My expectation is that we bounce. How high up we're going to go. There is a high up here as well. We could go and possibly to assault that high. They could just drop it straight down as well. There's a number of things that can occur, so we just don't know. So
There we go.
And they're off. And yep, there we go. So my expectation was that we would come up first into this area. So if they're going to do that, they'll take out some of the stops down here and then go up, right? That's the usual ploy. So they've swept these guys here, swept these guys out here, and they've left these ones alone. So we have a 1, 2 here, 1, 2, 3 bottom. So for those on YouTube, we are the 1, 2, 3 traders. Essentially, what we're looking for is a 1, 2, 3, and a 1, 2, 3 is a low, a high, and another low. And that movement, we look for an entry near the 3 in this number 3 area, and that number 3 area is around the 50% retrace between 1 and 2. And
we're going to end up going down, it looks like, at this point.
Looks like they've taken everybody out now, except for the bottom.
Now we'll see if they turn up. Well, they haven't quite taken out everybody yet, so we might get
Just the
another.
bottom is left. It looks like they're going to go through that.
Yeah, because right now it's an even bottom that they hit on the futures anyway.
Let's see if we're getting any divergence with S&P at this point. The S&P has taken out the low already, but NASDAQ has not. So
Hasn't
you
yet,
would
but
expect the NASDAQ to do that as well, but they might not do it. So let's see. And how did Bitcoin fare in all this? Bitcoin, not much of a reaction on Bitcoin in comparison to, we didn't have a huge drop like the NAS did. The S&P did come down though. So quite interesting there on Bitcoin.
I say NASDAQ has got to penetrate that one. But boy, they're trying like heck not to.
A nice 1, 2, 3 top on Bitcoin right here. So it looks like they want to come down some more and take out these lows. So opportunity for a sell on Bitcoin is setting up. The Tesla open. Big drop, eh? Wow. So that's what, we were kind of, the expectation was that Tesla was going to go down to 270. They went all the way back up. Can't take out the high, and now they drop it back down. So it's a tough going now in order to get in and make any trades at this point. So NASDAQ did not take out the low still. And S&P certainly did, and now it's turning around. So tough to trade right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, the US 500 is down 84.71, 86.34. Everything's down today. Gold and silver and Tesla and Facebook, Nvidia, Amazon, Apple.
There is blood in the streets.
There's a lot of heartache out there.
Well, going back up to that 4-hour chart, much as I didn't want to see this happen, being an optimist, I marked this out and I called, them to take out this low. So it's a bit disconcerting. I was hoping that this wouldn't occur, but I didn't know if this was going to come down like that, what would cause that drop. We remember on the 2nd of April, I called for, previous to that, I called for a big drop prior to that, because if you remember, here I'm on the 4-hour time frame. So at that point here, we had this big move here. So on the 2nd of April, I was calling for a huge down move of the indices, but I didn't know what the catalyst would be to make that drop. And it was Mr. Trump and his tariffs. So tariffs at that point caused the market to waver, not even waver, but drop considerably. So tariffs. So today now, after all this movement here and this chop and so forth, my expectation was that we were coming down again to take out these lows. But again, what's the catalyst to bring this market down? Now we're having the same GDP at this point, right? So, which is just the beginning of it, but we could see further drops over the coming days and weeks here. And we are in earnings season as well. And, so lots of stuff going on. I'm not seeing any wild plays at this point. Any S&P still looks quite weak. We could take out that low one more time. NASDAQ is looking a little stronger compared to the S&P at that point. So, will they take the low again on the S&P or not? And see how Tesla is doing now that it's okay. They're still going down. So yeah, we could be pushing to take out these lows now. There goes the S&P.
Which lows are you talking about?
The current lows on the 1 minute chart. S&P taking out those lows. NASDAQ.
Sorry.
Still not there yet, but looking to take out those lows. Here we go. So the question would be, now that we've taken that low, so there we go. S&P is taking the low and is really dropping. So now we can see we have a 1, 2, 3, and we're heading down. On the NAS, same thing. 1, 2, 3, heading down. I jumped into Bitcoin because Bitcoin was a lot nicer looking. So making nice profit there on Bitcoin. So we've got double 1, 2, 3 top. So with our 1, 2, 3, we've got a 1, 2, 3 here, another 1, 2, 3 here, and now we're dropping. So we should take out this low and continue down. Where we're going to go to? Can see if we can find anything on the left side. There's a gap way down here. So, but we could be heading for those lows way down there. So I'm gonna take a little something off right now while I can, and let the rest continue down. So, but just put my stop into positive here. And that way there's no loss on this trade whatsoever. So make up for what, they wasn't too sure about NAS and S&P, but like I said, Bitcoin was setting up for a nice 1, 2, 3 there. So take advantage of that move. And I'm going in late in the Bitcoin 1, 2, 3. I jumped in a little late on it. I should have been up at this level because we really want to get in when we get in the higher retrace of it. But look at this nice move on Bitcoin. It's great. So I'll just keep trailing my stop down as we drop. It's hard to give up $3,000 of profit just with 675 because they could spike back up any moment in time and take you out. In such a volatile market. Let me just see where we are again. 15-minute time frame. So we're coming into this gap here. I think I'll take the profit off at this point. Actually, it's a tough one because we could come all the way and take out the lows, but I'll take the $3,000 profit anytime and leave it. So I can always come back in again on a retrace, which is what I think they're going to do because we came back into this gap here. Let me mark that gap. This gap, and then this gap we touched. So we could get a little bit of a bounce back up first before we continue down. So hence the reason I'm taking the profit at that point. But let's see if we do get a bounce, and I can always go back in again. So double 1, 2 drop, looking for a little bit of a bounce now and maybe another opportunity. But if not, it'll just continue straight down, but that's fine.
I scalped Tesla short for a quick profit.
And Tesla, we got a quick little 1, 2, 3 there as well. And so, yeah, you could certainly, there's our 1, 2, 3 right at the open and that drop. And then the NAS and S&P also did the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I thought we'd get a retrace by now on the NAS, but we haven't.
No retraces at this point. So they're all doing the same thing, even Bitcoin, right? They all did the same thing. So that's quite interesting there. So Bitcoin's making a liar to me. I'm not getting a bounce at all. So could have stayed right in that position, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's the same way as me.
Yeah, it's all good. So it looks like with Bitcoin, they're heading to that low on so they're going down to take that low, and they did by a tick. So it could have held out to the low on that move, but that's okay. So very weak at this point. So let's take a look at it on the hourly time frame. So that low right there in jeopardy. And they did take it. Sweeping that low. So the next lows are here. So they could head down here as well. And take those lows out. And then we have a final low way down here. So what's Bitcoin doing overall? We can see we're in a chop, sideways chop. So it is a possibility for them to certainly take that low, and they could take this low as well. We're just chopping, very choppy affair. So we could come down, take out those lows. We have a big gap. I'm not sure what time frame that looks like. Maybe the daily time frame that we have that gap on. So let me just take a look, and it is on the daily, big daily gap right there. So 4 hour, yeah, they could certainly come all the way down here. Relatively equal lows here as well. So that would be quite a drop for Bitcoin. It was looking pretty good that we would continue to go up to take out the 100,000 again, but of course we're in a fourth wave, so we can get that pullback right before we continue going. All right, so now I'm getting the bounce that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so NAS, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. So I thought on the NAS and S&P that we would go up first a little bit, but they said nope, nothing up there for them to go to. So we just touched the gap. That's the gaps, and then down we came. So a rebound here, retrace here, and would present a nice opportunity for us to continue going down again to take out this low one more time. So where we're going to go back up to, mark off any gaps up here. There's one here. Where's our first gap this morning? Right here. I'm going to keep this gap. Our first, no, that's
not
the
even
first
going
gap.
up 38%.
First gap is quite tiny. Right there. This is actually the second gap. Not much of a retrace here, eh? And yeah, same thing on Bitcoin. They're not giving me much of a retrace at all. And they're just going straight down. So
take what you can get.
Surpassed my quota for the day already, so I'm good. But okay, NAS looks like it wants to come back up a little bit. You see anything on the 5 minute? So on the 5 minute, there is just one big gap right there. I'm gonna mark that. So it could still, they could still go up and touch that perhaps,
Yeah.
but there it looks pretty weak at this moment in time. Yeah, S&P is much weaker than the NAS. Well, they're both basically the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Very close. Yeah. So my 4-hour candle, I have 4-hour candles here. There's 3 of them, but you can't see the third one at this point. It must be higher up. There it is, the green one. It's showing that we opened here. And you know how it's interesting that when the candle opens, this is one of the things about the candles that you guys have to keep in mind when you're looking at the higher time frame. A lot of people think the candle opens and then goes straight up and then comes straight down, but that's not true. When you can see what happens here, the candle opened and it came down first. See that? So it opened, but it came down first, and then it went up. See, so then it went up and created the wick. So the wick is created at this point. So from the 4-hour standpoint, we're looking at a candle that opens, dropped first, went back up, and now it's coming down. Huge. So there we're getting the retrace that we're looking for. So we'll get a nice 1-2 big drop, retracing back up into this gap, into the 5-minute gap. And that would present an opportunity for a sell to come back and take out this low here. So we did touch. Can we go a little higher than that? Let's see if we're going to go any higher, or is that it? Yeah, we should go a little higher. Should take out this high again here. Yeah, that what I just showed you here is an interesting thing that you got to keep in mind, because a lot of people, again, look at this in the wrong way. They think that the candle opens and then goes straight up and then it comes down, but that's not always the case. All right, so we're getting a move into the gap. We can go a little higher still, but they've swept it now, so that might be it. We could go one more time, a little higher. I'd like to see them come up into the middle of the gap, ideally.
It's almost up to 50%.
So of this move here, so if I put the fib on that move here, yeah, we're almost at 50% indeed. So very close. So looking like I'm getting a fractal here. So I'm going to take a sell. If I get a fractal. So it still looks like we could go higher.
Still looks that way, yeah.
Possibly. Maybe not. Okay, so
the
I might have missed.
volatility has picked up somewhat, so it's getting harder to tell what they have in mind.
Okay, one more stab at going to the midpoint of the gap. So I'm probably just nickel and diming myself here, and I should just take the trade at this point. Yes. So I kind of nickel and dime myself out of getting in, but that's fine. I'll just jump in at this point and take the trade to come down, take out the low. I was looking for one more push into the midpoint of the gap, but we're not getting that. So at this point, on the seconds chart, I'm getting a 1, 2, 3. So you can't see a 1, 2, 3 on the minute chart, but there is a 1, 2, 3 there, and then we get this move. So if I look at the seconds chart, I'm on the 10 seconds chart. There is my 1, 2, 3 right there. and entering to come down. So by using the seconds chart, I can cheat, as it were, and see the 1, 2, 3 that's set up. So again, where are we going to? I have to go up higher to see where we're heading to at this point. And I need to look to the left. And the next stop, there's a gap way down here, so I could mark that gap. And that's a possible target area in there. So I could set a target for that. Not that far away, really.
What target were you looking for? The bottom?
No, I think I went up to the 30 to see it. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on this, I can't even see it on it has to be on the hourly for me to see it.
Yeah,
So on
I
the
think you
hourly,
have to go
there's a gap.
further.
There's a gap there on the left. I'm looking for that. So I'm up some nice profit here. So let me take something off. Was up some nice profit there. Wow. Okay, it's come back quite a bit against me here. So see if I can get back in there. Get back into the 2000s here. Here we go. Okay, so take a little bit off there, and we'll let the rest continue going down. Always good to take a little profit off if you can, when you can, because you just never know if they're going to spike it back and so forth. But right now, again, 1, 2, 3. We look for a 1, 2, 3 to come down. This was the 1, 2, 3 at that point. So then once we get a 1, 2, 3, and you can enter around the 50% retrace. So there's our 1, there's our 2, there's our 3, and so right there we have our. We would do that again. Right here we have a 1, which is the highest point. Number 2 is our lowest point. Number 3 is our next highest point. And the only criteria is that number 3 cannot break number 1. So if we break number 1 point by a tick, then it nullifies that 1, 2, 3. So this is a valid 1, 2, 3. So we look for a retrace back up into about 50% and look for an entry. So an entry that I'm looking for is a fractal, and a fractal is just a swing high or swing low. So I got a swing low here, lowest candle, 2 higher lows, and the swing highs, highest candle, 2 lower highs. So I look for a fractal to enter, and a fractal on a lower time frame, like on a 15-second, 30-second, 10-second chart, is a 1, 2, 3 in itself. And that's why I can enter at that point to continue coming down. So once we get to this level here, which would be like that here, then we expect a bounce. And so that's what we expect at this point, a bounce. And you can enter again on a 1, 2, 3 at that point to go and take out this low. And that's what we're looking for right now, for us to come down, take out that low. So they're giving everybody a chance to get in again right there. You could have jumped in again to continue down. So Bitcoin is really dropping. Wow. So if I look at Bitcoin, this is what I was expecting on Bitcoin. So we have the 1, 2, 3 at this point, and then we get the drop, and then we get looking for a retrace, and then a continuation to the downside. So that's the same. So we're always looking for that structure. This is the key to our 1, 2, 3. And this is the best 1, 2, 3 to play to come down. And that's basically our system in a nutshell. It's very simple. It's not an easy thing to play. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's a simple concept. All right, so here we go, coming down. So my target is right there. Could now come into positive with a stop. and it's telling me that we're going down a lot further than even where my target is, because I got a 1, 2, 3 there again. And so we're heading down quite a little bit more. I can see if I can pinpoint where we're heading to before I hit target here. But it's too late. I think I'm going to be out at this point. So looking for where are they really heading to? So I could even go into lower target and so on, but don't have to be greedy on this. I can just let it go. Let's see. Could move it into mid area of the gap. And just, let's see, our fib here. I put my fib back on. My usual target is 1.618. We've broken through that. 2.618 would be next. We're right there. So it looks like a reasonable target, but I could go lower to 3.618, which is in the next gap down here. So it looks like we're heading still further down. Tesla still going down, Peter? Very slow.
It's creepy crawly.
Yeah, it's creepy. Creeping along compared to the NAS and the S&P, which are just really dropping here. So I should be out momentarily here.
Trying to suck me into another short, but I'm not jumping at it right now.
So oops, I was just going to say I was going to move my stop down to midpoint of the gap, but that's fine because I still have a room to come down, and the reason why I have a room is because I have a 1, 2, 3. So again, it's telling me that anytime I get a 1, 2, 3, it tells me that I would be looking for a low. So at this point, I would be looking for a low and then a bounce and then a continuation. So this is definitely in line to hit this target area. We could get a bounce here and continue. So if it comes here and bounces, say back up into this gap, for instance, then I could always enter again to continue down. So that's the secret to the sauce, as it were. Get rid of all these. I'm going to keep my first gap on. This was the first gap after 930. Bearish gap. This was the 5-minute gap. And so Bitcoin, boy, did I get out early on that one. That's just, it's just not stopping at all. It's just straight down. Amazing. So where's the 1, 2, 3 on Bitcoin on the hourly? If this is the indication of where we're heading, this is not so good. So here's our high, and here's a 1, 2, 3 right there. That's just not really good. That could take us way down. Again, I was seeing this happening on Bitcoin, that we could fall, but I was hoping that we wouldn't do that. But you know, it's that's the way it is. It's doing it. So there's our 1, 2, 3 here, and now we're in this big, huge drop to the downside. So looking for a bounce to get back in. You know, you can always do that, but sometimes you don't get it. We're getting a little bit of a bounce. So where are we bouncing at this point? So we can go back up to the 30, for instance, and look and see. So they've taken all these lows except for this one now. So we only have one low left. This one. So that one's in jeopardy of being taken out. Okay. And after that one, get rid of this guy. After that low, what else do we have? Let's see, 4 hour. So again, we have this daily gap that would be the next, based on the 1, 2, 3 here, that looks like that's where we're going to be heading into this gap. And then we could continue going from there. Back up to take out all these. You see, we have equal highs up here. So that's the likely scenario. They're going to go back up and take out all those highs and continue and push up to the 100. I'm calling for 100,000 Bitcoin again. But we first have to go through a little pain before we're going to get there. All right, so we're getting quite a bounce now on Bitcoin here. So where are we bouncing to? Okay, so I've got a gap here on the 5-minute. Coming into that gap right now as we speak. So we have a gap on the 15. Yes, we have a gap on the 15. So I'm going to use the 15-minute gap. It's not actually a 15-minute gap yet because the 15-minute candle hasn't closed. So we're right in the middle of the 5-minute gap. So again, I could now enter it into a trade if I was so inclined. So do I want to do that though at this point is the question, right? So let me just get rid of that. Let me go back up to the 5-minute. We'll look at the whole structure. So the structure says we've had this whole thing is a 1-2. So we come down, we're pushing back up. I'll be looking to continue back down again to take out this low. So if you can get a ride, get in on the train, get a nice seat up in this area, you can get a nice ride back down to make some profits to this level. The only thing is we could go up higher than, we think, instead of just coming here and turning, we could go higher up because there's room for us to come up into some of these gaps up here as well. So you have to be able to discern that. So we're having news at 10 o'clock and it's 4 minutes after. Nothing really transpired. I didn't see any big movement, George, on that news.
No, I'm not seeing anything at this point.
It didn't seem to affect anything at all. So there's our
reason is that volatility is rising quite a bit.
So yeah, there's our structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we get this retrace, and we should get a retrace that could take us back to take out this high.
Yeah, that's
if we take out
what
that
I'm
high,
looking for at this point.
If we take out this high, then we could look again to continue down to come back and take out this low again. So this is again our structure. So let's see if that occurs.
There's a lot of hesitation going on so far.
And Tesla is, very slow motion here. Let's see what gold is doing. I haven't looked at gold in a little bit. Someone was asking me about gold. So I can see gold on the 1 minute chart where we're heading down further right away. But looking at it on the daily from a daily standpoint, we've had quite the run on gold. You can see I've been here looking at gold previously and calling for. I remember when we were down below 3,000, I was calling for 3,000 gold because our structure again was playing out to push us to 3,000. So we get to 3,000, get a pullback after passing through, and now we're pushing again up to 3,500, and we're getting a pullback again. So it looks like a pullback again, a buying opportunity to continue pushing higher in gold, interestingly. So if I go to the weekly on it, you can see we're just straight up in the air now. So it's just quite the push here. So coming back down daily again, looks like you can see on my daily bars here, 2 weak bars in a row, but now we're getting rejection wicks and looks like we're going to push up to take out the highs. 4 hour, we're just sideways on the 4 hour. So in the short term, it looks like we're going to take out these lows. I've got a 1, 2, 3 right there. So that would be the trajectory for gold short term before we continue. So dropping down to the hourly, yeah, we're pushing up here, but it's opportunity to sell to take out all these lows down here. And 30-minute. So I'd be looking to sell up in here. So 15 minutes. So you just keep going down the time frames until you can see the structure. And now I can see the structure on the 5-minute. So we swept down here, swept here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks short term here. I would look for another push back to the upside to take out this high, and then we would be coming back down. So looking at it again on the 1 minute, this is what they're doing in the short term. We have, let me see if I can see the bottom on the 1 minute. There it is. That is the bottom right here on the 1 minute. So they swept that low, like I pointed out. And then we go up and we sweep this previous high, drop back, push up, drop back. So I would expect them to come up and take out that high there first before we come down. They could even drop one more time here. They might just do that just to be mean, because I can see the structure here that it's possible that they could drop it one more time before they do that. But the trajectory is to take out this high first, it looks like. So we can see the structure quite clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, this could be a 3, and then we go up, maybe take this high, and then we could drop one more time and take out the low, and then we get that move back up. That's a possibility like that. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's quick look at gold. Haven't looked at oil in a long time either. Let's take a look at oil on the weekly. Oil is in a downward, has been in a downward mode. Let me get rid of these lines here. Got lots of lines here. Okay, so we've been in a downward spiral here on oil. Is there a low down there somewhere? They took out all those lows over there. So you see on the weekly, you can't really see clean 1, 2, 3. There is one there, but you have to really look to see it. And then we get this drop. Now we're getting another a 1, 2 here. So it's a possibility that we don't take out this low again, and we could bounce from here with oil. That's possible. Daily time frame. Yeah, it's very tricky to see this, the 1, 2, 3 in here. Very choppy stuff. Drop, up, down. So is this the bottom? Possibly. It's a possible bottom. I say possibly because now we have a 1, 2, 3 here. We could come down and take out this low one more time. So can't really see the 1, 2, 3 in here, but there is one. So I have to drop to the lower time frame, to the 4 hour. Then we can see it. And it's still a little difficult to see it, but it is there. There is one. And then we get this drop over into 4. So I would expect them to take this low out. So no bounce on oil. So we got a 1, 2. So we're heading down to take out that low at that point. So what I'm showing you guys here, if you can just look at any chart, it doesn't matter what the instrument is. Let me go to NVIDIA, for instance, or yeah, let's go to NVIDIA. Where's NVIDIA? So it doesn't matter what the chart is. If I go to the weekly time frame, or even the monthly. Let's go to the monthly time frame on NVIDIA. Okay, so here's NVIDIA. So a quick way to see where you are on the chart is that we're looking for this structure. So if you can pinpoint this structure and you can pinpoint your 1, 2, 3, then you have a fighting chance of knowing where you are. Otherwise, you're just lost in translation, as it were. So we had this move and we had that. So this is my 1, 2, 3. So if that's my 1, 2, 3, then I know that I'm going to move up to a certain point up here. So there's my move up to that certain point. So once we get to that certain point, we're going to get a pullback. And once we get that pullback, we're expecting to take out this high. So I would expect them to come back up and take out this high. So it's showing that NVIDIA has room, potential to go and take out its highs. Right now, it's just in a doldrums. It's in a fourth wave, as it were. And so this is what's going on. So just by looking at the structure, you can see where you are right away. And that helps you to gauge, say, okay, maybe it's, this is buying opportunity on NVIDIA because price is low. And this is the whole objective of trading and buying stocks and so forth, is to buy low, right? This is the whole objective. Buy low.
Was on it really good.
And easy to say,
Laptop.
that's what it is.
Brand X.
Buy low. If you're trading to come down, then it's sell high. So we can buy low or we can sell high. So there's two ways of looking at it. But it's sell high or buy low. So if you buy low, then you want to sell high. And if you sell high, you want to buy low. And that's basically the whole objective. So I'll keep going down the chart now. I'll go down to the weekly. So on the weekly, we can see we came all the way up in this big, huge move, and now we chop up and down. So sweeping out these guys. So we would be looking for a move to take us back up to take out these highs. Doesn't mean that we're done going down. We have to look at where our 1, 2, 3 is up here to see if we're actually done going down. We could still come down and take out these lows here. That's possible as well. But you have the idea that we're at that point where we're looking for a turnaround to go back up to take out the highs over here. So that's the whole key to it. So I'm giving away the farm, but it's all good. You still have to go in here and play. I can tell you, people can tell you anything, but you have to go in and play, and that's the challenge. So now I can see that we had equal highs up here. We get a 1, 2, 3. We get this drop down, but this whole thing becomes a 1, 2, 3, and then we get this drop. So it's saying that NVIDIA is not out of the woods yet. That this low is in jeopardy. And the reason why is because I have this big 1, 2, 3 here. So this drop puts me in another chop that NVIDIA could chop up and down in here for a while, and we could still drop down and take out these lows. So it's still possible that we could go lower. So we could get lower prices on NVIDIA eventually. So that's a look. So any instrument you can do that with. That's what we do here anyways. So with the NASDAQ, it's the same type of thing. Let me get rid of, let's see if I can. Got a lot of stuff on this chart now.
$100 times 12 for yourself.
So with the NAS, the expected move was that we would get this 1, 2, 3. We would drop, we would come back up, and we would drop again to come back down and take out these lows. Unfortunately, I was hoping I would be wrong and this wouldn't happen, like I said, but it's not up to me. So
I agree with you. Sorry to interrupt.
I'm sorry, Peter, what were you saying?
Sorry to interrupt. I was just saying I agree with your analysis.
Thank you. Again, it doesn't mean that I'm right, but we, as 1, 2, 3 traders, we have an expectation of a move, and you have to hold to that expectation. Although you can't be rigid with your expectation, you have to be flexible, and that's the key takeaway. We can't be completely rigid and say, oh yeah, this is exactly what's going to happen. I have an expectation of what's going to happen, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. So, all right, so we are getting that bounce that we were looking for at this point. So there again is the structure. We get a 1, 2, 3 from this level. We drop down. There's our structure. We get this bounce. So I'd be looking for them to take out this high here, and then a possibility that we could turn around at this point. We could turn around and go back up a little bit more, or they could come and assault the lows again. So it's so the structure really, if we're in a downward mode, then we're going to be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, move back up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, move back up, 1, 2, and so on. We're going to just continue going down if we're in a downward mode. So yes, we can even play these moves back up. If you're nimble enough to see what's going on, you can catch the 1, 2, 3 bottoms at that point. What time frame? I'm on the 5 minute. So if I'm on the 1 minute, I can jump in on a 1, 2, 3 bottom and catch this move. So I could have been nimble enough to do that if I was paying attention here and catch this move to the upside, because the expectation is that we would come back up to challenge these highs up here. However, the overall trajectory is still to the downside, so we'd be looking for continuation back down. And why is the overall trajectory to the downside? It's because we have this large 1, 2, 3 up here. So the large 1, 2, 3 from the higher time frame takes precedence. So we're in this move to the downside. So in this move here, we're chopping up and down, and we can get moves like that, but the overall trajectory is still down. So that's the same as when we were coming up. It's all the exact same thing. We get this 1, 2, 3 at this point. We're looking for them to go up. We get a pullback. We can play the pullback on the lower time frame to come down, but the overall trajectory is still to go up and take out this high. So we'd be looking for primarily the 1, 2, 3 bottoms to go back up. So it looks like at this point that this move here could take us down to take out that low short term. So that's probably about 50% retrace. Let's see what percentage retrace that is from this high to this low. There's 50%. So that's reasonable for us to come down and take out this low down here. That's totally a reasonable trajectory. There's 50% right there. That's quite a drop. And then we can still go even lower than that. So all right, so we're getting that quite a nice little bounce here now. And again, looking for them to take out these highs. And why? Because we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. So this would have been a play to the upside. If I was concentrating on just the NAS at this point, I would have been able to jump in, catch this move. So there's a great 1, 2, 3 bottom. Although we did not finish this structure, we did not get, notice that, George?
Yeah.
We get a 1, 2, 3 here, and we don't get the move to take out the low right away. So
Right.
did S&P?
We have a head and shoulders there.
Yes. And did S&P give us? No, S&P did the same thing. So Peter's pointing out a head and shoulders. So we have the head, the 2 shoulders. And so at this point here, we've change of character here. We retrace back into a gap. That's like 50, pretty close to 50% retrace of this move. And then off we go. And that's it. So this would have been a nice play to the upside. And we've come back to the original gap, first gap after 9:30 open. So the 9:30 open was right here. But I don't look at this gap. I look at the first one after 9:30. And I'm basing this on ICT, Michael Huddleston's analysis. He always looks at the first opening gap as a gauge. And so this gap, which was a bearish gap at this point, can now turn into support to push us higher. So will they go up and take this high? That again, that would be the expectation. This high could be in jeopardy. Bitcoin is doing the same, similar type. So again, not paying attention, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. So now we get this move back up. We expect that move to take out this high, take out this high, maybe even take out this high, get us back up. So this entire move is being retraced back to around 50%. So then we would expect another continuation down because we're in a downward trajectory overall. So if that's the case, so I go back up to the hourly, we look at the chart, you can see, yes, we're in a downward mode, 30-minute. I've got a 1, 2, 3 there. You can't see it very clearly on the 30-minute. There's a larger one here that's very large. So it's saying that this could be, a nasty continuation to the downside here. So on the 15-minute, I've got a new 1, 2, 3. So yes, we have a large 1, 2, 3 here, but to get down to the nitty-gritties, there is a smaller one here, and then we get this move, we get this move. So I'll be looking for them to take out this low one more time. So it's a sell opportunity again as price comes up into this area. So off the 15-minute, I can mark off the 15-minute gap. So let's mark that 15-minute gap right there and look for them to come into midpoint of that 15-minute gap. 5-minute, looking for them to come up into about the midpoint area. 1 minute, we're almost there. And then look for a 1, 2, 3 up here. Look for a 1, 2, 3 to come back down. So that's how you kind of beat them at their game, as it were. So not bad this morning. Four wins, no losses, and nice profits. I've got about a little over 10 grand in profit. And it's one of the things myself and Peter always says he hates losing. I detest losing. So I'm always trying not to lose. This is the whole objective of playing is to not lose. Because if you lose, that means you're giving your money to somebody else. And you don't want to be doing that. But it's a very difficult thing to not lose. Because somebody else on the other side wants your money. So they don't want to lose either. So it's tough. There's a NAS coming up to take out the high. So
it's almost there.
Yeah, great move, eh? So that would have been a beautiful. This is a classic 1, 2, 3 setup. So in technical terms, looking for a sweep of this low, and we get that sweep, and then we look for a sweep of the previous high, and we get the move up, then we get a retrace, and usually there's a gap there, and or an inverted gap, and there's both on this one, and then retrace into 50% area, and this is a buy. Like you've got check marks, check marks, check marks. So check mark with the gaps. So this is a buy. You get 3 check marks, you're good to go. Never mind getting 5 of them. And this should be an automatic buy. Like there should be no hesitation to buy that. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, and that's all there is to it. The only thing hard about this particular trade here is the placement of your stop. So you're looking at this. So I'm going to just put the fib on this here real quick. So the move
based on the inverted head and shoulders, it looks like the price measurement has taken us as high as we're going to go.
Yeah, we're very close. So I wouldn't see them coming all the way up here and not taking these highs. So I'm kind of looking for them to take those highs out over here first.
They missed it by a few pips.
Yeah, it's still got another push to go. So I think we're going to take out those highs first.
Yeah, I would think so.
So we did retrace exactly the 50% on that tick right there on the wick. 50%.
15 handles would take it out. Well, it's down to 3 handles. 4. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
That would be the expected, that we would take out the equal highs there. So, and you can see it from the structure also that we're doing that. So our structure is saying yes, and then we got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that's working just perfectly there. So yeah, again, this is an ideal setup. We come back into 50% area, and then we don't even need order blocks or gaps. It's not necessary to, but you can use them to augment and help you to ascertain whether or not this is a really good setup. But the sweeps really help. You don't need to look at sweeps and all that stuff. It's irrelevant. It's all about just, do we have a 1, 2, 3? Are we at a low point? Is there some kind of support over here? A support in the sense of, was there a previous gap or was there a previous low? And then if that's so, you can look for this move to take you up. But you don't even need any of this either, because it's not a prerequisite. The key prerequisite is the structure that we see right here. If you can see that structure, then you should be expecting a turnaround at this point to go back up. But that takes time and experience to really see it. So at this point now, I'll be looking for a turnaround to come back down. So would that be a correct analysis? We would think so. So I've got a 15-minute gap here. So I mark them off because they do come into play. I use them to help me. So there's a big gap here. Price was delivered only down to the downside here. So now would they come back into this area? So I'm looking for them to come and say mid area, and then look for a turnaround, 1, 2, 3 top. So I go down to my seconds chart to help me, because on the seconds chart I can see when a 1, 2, 3 top forms before it does on the minute chart. I can take advantage of it. So I'm just looking for a fractal on the minute chart. I can enter the trade. So are we going to go higher? Maybe, maybe not. So we swept this high. So that might be enough for them now at this point. We don't have to go any much higher. They can still go a little higher, of course, but we're looking now for a turnaround 1, 2, 3 to come back down. So it looks like they want to take the high one more time. So they did. Okay. So it's just patience here. And so I could mark off this low. This was the last low before the move up. I could mark that low off. And then I'd be looking for a move back to the downside that would take out that low, retrace, and then give me my 1, 2, 3 that I'm looking for. And that would be my entry area. All right, so I'm getting a fractal. So if I get a fractal here, and it looks like again that they might take out the high one more time. So they might be pushing to go up into the middle of this gap. So we're not quite done going up yet. They might take that high. And it looks like they're going to. Let's see how the S&P is looking at the same point. S&P is basically the same. So S&P has not taken out that high yet. Interesting. So we're getting some divergence as we speak. So there's a little bit of divergence on the S&P and the NASDAQ. You see we've taken out the high over here. So huge divergence actually. And S&P says, I can't do that. I can't get up there. I don't have enough oomph to get up there. So that tells us a little bit of a story as well. Divergence is huge. Peter, remember when you first pointed out divergence to me?
Yeah, I do.
I was like, what? What's divergence? I didn't know what it was. What's divergence?
Yeah, it's a nice buzzword.
And then you get into hidden divergence and all. It's like, oh, gee, my brain's gone.
The one I still that George is better on it than me is inverted divergence.
Inverted divergence. Oh boy.
Yeah, that one takes some understanding. But George sees it before I do.
George sees everything. So we have well over, let's see, George has been trading for over 50 years. I've been trading for almost 30 years. Peter, you've been trading for at least 30 years.
At least that, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got well over 100 years of trading experience here on our team. And we call it like it is. No fluff, nothing hidden. Everything is right in the open here. So we're getting that turn, and so I'm not doing it with the 1, 2, 3. Although I did have a 1, 2, 3 there on the seconds chart. So there's my 1, 2, 3. I could have entered right there really early and got into that trade right there to catch the move. But what I'm doing here is I'm waiting for the 1, 2, 3 on the 1 minute time frame to form to show you guys how you can play this. So jumping in early is always better, because if I jump in at this point, my stop would be above the high. My risk is completely reduced. If I wait for this move down and the retrace, my risk becomes higher because I'm getting in at that level, and then my risk is higher. So it's always better to jump in early, but it's not always easier to do it because you have to be certain that this is the high. Otherwise, you get taken out. That's the big. But if you do jump in early, if I jumped in early, which I usually do, I jump in at this point, and my risk is just that, then it's okay to take that trade and get stopped out if you're wrong, because your risk is small. So I'll take that all day long. I'll jump into that trade all day long. So I'll wait for price to come down, take out this previous low here, and give us a 1, 2, 3 retrace. Now, it doesn't guarantee that I'll get a retrace. You know, sometimes the retrace is very shallow. Sometimes they just do a little blip and then they're gone. Sometimes they go all the way back up 100%. So there's no guarantee. As long as they don't break this high, then we should continue down. So it needs them to break this low here. And I can mark off my gaps. So I've got a gap here right now. So that gap would be a retrace area. There's also an inverted gap on the other side. They're basically the same. So if I can break this low and get a retrace back up to that level, that would present a nice sell. And Bitcoin's doing a similar type of thing as well. So Bitcoin, same type of movement like the NAS. We got the 1, 2, 3, another 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So Bitcoin's saying it is possible for them to go back up and take this high one more time, or we just continue down. So, and the reason why I'm saying that it looks like they could take out the high one more time is because we have a large 1, 2, 3 here. So this here is internal to it. So the larger 1, 2, 3 is, and then we have a smaller 1, 2, 3 internal to it. So that's getting a little bit nitty gritty, but that's how it actually works. So yeah, let me go back to the NAS here. Okay, so we did come through that little low there, and we're getting that retrace. So if we can come back up here, then that's a sell. I'll get ready to sell that. And we are in the sell zone, so I'll sell it right there. So this is it. So if I'm doing this technically, I put my stop above the high, or even just this candle's high right there. This first candle's high, because this one, the red one there, this guy, because that is the candle that created the gap. So technically we shouldn't really go back up here. And then we look for this drop. So let's see if that works. So my risk is much higher getting in at this level than it would have been if I got in a little higher up. We're looking for them to take this low out and continue down. So there's our first gap that we had earlier this morning. How's our time? Okay, we still have some time here. So we're coming down nicely.
Looks like we might be trying to put in a 1, 2, 3 top on the 5-minute Tesla.
And it's doing this similar pattern. They're up. This looks like a fourth wave here on Tesla, more so. Interesting.
Okay, thank you.
Be careful on that. Let's see, 5 minutes. Yeah, it's looking, that looks like a fourth wave. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's very tricky there. So I have to be careful with the NAS. Maybe they're not done. So I'm going to take some profits off here. I guess I can. That was nice. And I can move my stop down and into positive here so that there's no loss on this trade again. And that's the key. You want to be able to do that. I might be a little tight with that stop at this point. I don't like to put my stop at break even because that means I get zero, and I don't like getting zero. I like to get something positive, so I like to put it in positive. So I want to see price continue dropping here now. So I'm going to look at Tesla again. And yeah, because this 1, 2, 3 here, it looked like a fourth wave, but this certainly we've taken out that low, we pulled down, pull back in, so we could be heading straight down here as well, just like the NAS. But it does look like a little bit like a fourth wave. But if I'm correct, and it looks, because this looks like a fourth wave, we could certainly take this low out, and then we could go back up to take out all these highs again. That's a possibility, but it's a tough one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's possible that that's what they're doing here. So NAS, that would mean NAS is not done going up, and they could go back up and take out this high as well. So I might not get this drop that I'm expecting here. Everything looks pretty good that we should get this drop. So if I get stopped out, then they're not done. They're probably going to come through. But they can do that, eh? You see in here, I'm just going to make this bigger so everybody can see. This high right here is not safe, because I've got a 1, 2, and then just like what I'm saying, they can come back and take out that high. That's so wicked. So that's why I like moving my stop into positive, because they can do that. They can come back and take out this high. So they might not be done, and then they can go back up and take out. So it looked like we were done, but they did not really close below this low. So they just wicked it. So that says possibility that this high is in jeopardy, and that's exactly what they're doing. So you have to be able to, again, go with the flow and be able to turn and see, and say, okay, I can't be rigid in this trade going down. I made some nice profit, but you can see that's what can happen to you. So looking at Tesla, that's what I was saying. It looked like a fourth wave here. So
yeah, I see that.
And so they can go back up and take everybody out who's thinking that this is the top, you see? So all the guys with their stops up here thinking that this is a sell are now in jeopardy.
Yeah, see that.
Yeah, and this, why is that? Why is this? Because
That's
of this.
10-minute gap. That's a 1/3 of the way in a 10-minute gap.
The reason why this is occurring is because of this guy.
Yeah, I see that.
See? This is the controller. So inside of it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that puts us at 3, because this is 1, 2. So this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3. So this becomes our 4, and then we get 1, 2. So this is a play, if you wanted to play, to go up to take out the highs. So if that was enough pips for you, or enough points for you, 276, 2 points or more, then you would jump in to take that trade to the upside. But again, you have to be quite nimble to do that, right? You have to be quick on the draw, as it were. So they're very sneaky, and that's how they get you. Most people can't see this stuff, so they just get caught.
Yeah, great.
So this fair value gap didn't mean anything at that point. Did for a moment in time, dropped it. So it was looking pretty good that maybe I was right that was the top and we're going to come down, but it wasn't. So they've taken out the top now. So that means we should go one more time, take out this high. And then we'd be looking for a true 1, 2, 3 top to come down now, because now we have our structure. So in the interim, they mess everybody up. They make it look like they're at the top here, and make it look like they're going to come down, take out this low and everything. But they didn't close below this low. So that closure said a lot. They said, oh, this is in jeopardy here. And like I say, they could take out that middle guy right there, and that's what they did. That's why I moved my stop into positive, because of that possibility that they could come back up and take me out if I'm wrong. So it's beautiful the way they do it. I have to, again, I have to commend them. It's like amazing. And I say they, I don't know who they are, but whoever's making this market move, whatever is making this market move, it's a beautiful thing. It's doing it in a very precise, definitive way. It's always, very precise. Very controlled, as it were. I mean, you do get those news movements and so forth, but other than that, it's a very controlled movement most of the time. And that's why our structure plays out so nicely. So for those who are wondering, what is the structure this guy is talking about? This structure is Elliott wave. Mr. Ralph Nelson Elliott, who lived in the 20s, he saw these patterns in the chart. He would take an 8.5 sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and each day he would mark the Dow Jones candles for the day. So he would mark off the open of the first candle, the low of the first candle, the high of the first candle, the close of the candle. Then he would mark off that's the first hour. Then he would do the next candle, and so on, right? And then he would do the next candle, and so on. And then he would do the next candle, and then he would do the next candle. And he started to, after doing this for a while, that's not the right movement there. After a while, he started to see patterns in the chart, and this was the key pattern that he would see, this pattern here, and this overall structure. So that would give us, so every day, this guy would, on a 8.5 sheet of paper with pen or pencil, I'm not sure if he was using pencil or pen, he would mark off the hourly bars on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And he tracked it from 1896 in its inception, and he was doing this. And when he was in 1929, and through to 1932, he saw that the price was coming, and I can show you what he was seeing. Let's go to the Dow Jones. This is very, very cool. Let me go down to the monthly chart on the Dow Jones. I think they're going to give me everything here. So let's go down to let's go back in time, 1929. Very cool. Way back in time. There it is. Kind of looks familiar, eh? This is hilarious the way the charts go. So he was marking off. There's this 1, 2, 3, and then you get this move, and then you got this move and this drop. So in here he was sending letters to brokers, big banks and big brokerages, telling them that the stock market was going to crash and everything like that. But then it would turn around and come back again to take out this high in the future. And there, of course, they thought he was a lunatic. Most of these guys, what's this guy talking about? But he was very astute, actually. And this is all from just using each bar on the hourly. You would see in these patterns. So he was calling for a turnaround in 1932-33. And why? Because there's a 1, 2, 3 there. There's a 1, 2, 3 bottom. And there was a 1, 2, 3 bottom over here. And so that move gives us this whole thing here is a 1, 2, 3 bottom. So that move tells us that we're going to go back up and take out that high. But it's for someone to even believe that when we're down at less than 100, for us to go back up above 380, it seems impossible at this point. But as you can see, price did eventually go back up and take it out. Took a while, mind you, but it did. So yeah, so it's kind of cool. So it's the same pattern repeating over and over and over and over and over and over and over on the charts all the time. And that brings us to where we are today.
And we're looking at what instrument? I'm sorry, Lennox.
This is the Dow.
Okay, so where do you see it going from here?
Okay.
I may have missed that. I may have missed that part. I got sidetracked.
No problem. So just a little history of where I came from in this stuff. I was in at work during the 90s, and I kind of started around 1995, 1996 area. But deep into it, 1997, 98, 99, 2000, that's when I really started. So I was starting to read about Elliott waves in around 1996, 97, in that area. And I was a programmer, systems analyst for working with the government agency here where I live on the West Coast. And I started trading the markets around at this time. My first ever trade was an options trade on IBM. And I played options primarily. I played options up until 2017, when I met Peter and George. So it was all options playing for me. And the reason I played options was because I didn't have much money to begin with. So I started playing with options because I could play options for like less than $100. And so because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, I started that way, and I kept going because it just was very lucrative, very beautiful way to play the markets. So I started in around this time, and the market was got really violent in top of 2000. This was the .com era, as they called it, the .com, and I was foreseeing a pullback and so forth at these times. And then when I get 1, 2, 3s, I'm calling for movements back up to take out these highs and so on. But when you see that, and you're telling people that price is going to go back to take out these highs, similar to Elliott in 1929 and 1932 area, you get a 1, 2, 3. The expectation is that we're going to go back up and take out this high, but it's very difficult for people to understand that. So yeah, and this is what's happening. Then you get your 1, 2, 3 here. You're coming back down to take out this low, and then so on. So it's very difficult for people to understand that that's what's going to happen, but it does happen, and you have to believe it. So here's the debacle in 2000, and we came through the .com, and you can see now when we look at it, it's just a blip. But at the time, it was catastrophic. This is catastrophic stuff. And then we moved up into 2007, 2008, and everybody's seen that movie, The Big Short, that someone in 2006, 2005, 2006 was seeing this move and seeing that this was a big fake out. So he's putting on a big short up here to come back down to take out these lows. And that's how that Big Short movie came about, because this guy was astute and he could see that this market was going to crash. And that's the 2008 bank bailouts and mortgage crisis and all that kind of stuff, right? Then bottom of 2009, now this is when everybody should be jumping in and buying, but everybody's hesitant now because it's scary. So you get a 1, 2, 3, and then we start moving up again. So we've been up since then. right? We've just been straight up, going straight up, straight up, straight up. But we have a 1, 2, 3 down here. And then we get this move, we get a pull back, and we're continuing. So we would expect that we would take this high out, and we've done that. So where are we, right? We continue pushing up. So now we can see the overall structure. So got a 1, 2, 3 in here. We get this move, we pull back, we get this move again, and we're pulling back. So the expected move is to continue and take out these highs. Otherwise, it's just nastiness. We don't want to see this. I don't expect this. It is possible though that we could have this happen, but I've got a 1, 2, 3 here, and then we move up, pull back, got another 1, 2, 3 here, move up, pull back. So I'm expecting us to continue going back up, but in the short term, we could certainly come down into these areas. But long term, I would expect us to continue. Nobody wants to see this kind of thing because that's just catastrophic. We want to see positivity for North America moving forward in time. So I'm not calling for this move down. I would prefer to see the market bounce, and that's what it looks like it's set up to do. So holding out for that. So from this level here, we've got. From in here, we got a 1, 2, another 1, 2, move up. This is a fourth wave that we're in right now. We get that pullback. Yes, we're getting a pullback today and all that, but expected move is to continue back up to take out those highs and continue on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't really want to see anything. So can we tell where we are? Yeah, we've taken everybody out who bought, and all these levels. Everybody's gone. Got a huge 1, 2, 3 here. We drop. We're chopping up and down. We can expect another drop to take out this low. This is in the short term, although it's still long term. Short term, long term, midterm. How's that midterm? So we can expect another drop to take out this low here. But then from there, we should be heading back up. So Mr. Trump's stuff here has caused us a lot of heartache in the short term, but hopefully in the long term it will prove out. So from this level here, I've got this 1, 2, 3. So that's what I was calling for, this big drop. And now we're chopping up in here. So the expected move is to come back down one more time to take out this low. Will it happen? That's the expectation. It doesn't have to happen, because in Elliott wave terms, sometimes this doesn't occur. We can get there and go back, but we would expect that to be taken.
In what percentage? I think you said 11% of the time wave 5 doesn't occur.
Yeah, so 11%. So if that's the case, then it's possible that this could be the bottom, and we could just come very close to getting there, and then we could turn back. But it's a rarity. 11% of the time is not very often. So I would expect us to take. You have to expect to take the low, and it doesn't mean that I'm right here, at all. We might not take that low. We might not even take this low. There's no guarantee here. This is just my analysis, my expectation of what price should do. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. So it's looking again like from this is what's controlling the move. So we got this drop, and then we're chopping up and down in this area. So the expected move would be to take out the lows.
As a side note for you to look at when it's convenient, it looks to me that Tesla's forming a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 5-minute chart.
Okay, so
it looks like it wants to go up and take out the gap that was formed.
So you can see Tesla is doing a similar thing to the Dow, and we got the 1, 2, 3 up here. This whole thing is a 1, 2, 3. So it's this entire move is a 1, 2, 3. So this drop And we're just chopping up and down in here. So we're in a fourth wave area. And the expected move would be to the downside. However, we can go higher first, because although they've taken everybody out already, there's not really any necessity for them to go higher again, but they could still do that for whatever reason, maybe come back up to these guys. You have to look at where the orders are sitting. So they've taken most of the orders out from here. And so at this point, we could go back up one more time, or we could just collapse down. But that will be the expected move for Tesla to go down and take out the lows as well.
Do you see a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 5-minute chart?
Okay, let's go down and take a look. There's the 15-minute, 5-minute. Indeed, yes. However, and I have to say however, because there really is a 1, 2, 3 top here, but it was very, very quick. And so this could just be a short-lived bounce to continue down to take out these lows. So you have to be careful about looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 bottom. So that would be my only proviso, right?
Yeah, okay. I get it.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So it's always tricky because they've swept this low here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So they swept that guy. So there really is a 1, 2, 3 here, but it's so fast, it didn't form. Then we get this drop. So we could expect one more drop here.
Okay, thank you.
That makes sense?
It does, thank you.
Yeah. So we have a 1, 2, 3 here. That was the controller. We dropped down. We came all the way back up. They came back quite a ways into this. And now we dropped down, taking out this low. So yes, this is possible that this could be it. And we could start going up, but you have to be careful because of the fact that there's still equal lows here. They can still drop it down, take out this one more time, just to be mean.
Okay.
And it's not about being mean. It's just the nature of the game, right? They haven't got their quota, so they're going to go down and get more.
We need a market maker on our team.
Yeah, that would be good, eh? Somebody who knows the future before it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's all just speculation, eh?
Yeah.
All we can do is an educated guess, as it were. We're never ever positive about the outcome, but so we're after the 11 o'clock hour already, eh? So let's see, where are we? So we got quite the bounce here. So we still haven't had that turnaround, eh, yet. So they really chopped it up in here. So that little move that I thought was a possible move down, you can see how they've taken everybody out and they've gone up quite a bit still. So they came up into the midpoint of that gap. So if I go back up to the 15, so this is quite interesting. This is where the midpoint of this 15-minute gap comes into play. So on the 15-minute time frame, we're just wicking it. The body is not going up above the midpoint. So this is one of the things that ICT Michael talks about, and it's precision stuff, and he's got it down, and I can see how beautiful and precise this whole price and time is. And it's for you as a trader to really start to really discern this stuff if you really want to make money in this game, because everything is precision, everything is based on time and the price delivery. So when you see him calling out these wicks and bodies and at precise times, that's exactly what's going on. So at 10 o'clock Eastern time, there's an algo that runs, and this was the algo today. It moved up. So if I go to the 1 minute time frame at 10 o'clock, it's its precise time. So with it between window of 10 and 11 o'clock, there's an algo that runs, and this was the algo today. And that every algo has to start off with a 1, 2, 3. We just call it a 1, 2, 3. He's looking at it in a different way. He's looking at it based on gaps and sweeps and so forth. And he he has this turtle soup stuff and all this names that he's got. But I try to keep it as simple as possible. It's just a 1, 2, 3. Keep it simple, and you can catch that move. You can catch that algo trade at 10 o'clock. So the next algo trade is at 2 o'clock. So a window between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, you look for the same kind of thing. So if 2 o'clock we're way up here, we'd be looking for a 1, 2, 3 bottom to top, sorry, to come back down. The same kind of thing. So we're still going up, but again, if I go to the 15-minute, you can see now the body has gone through. So he would mark this gap up, and just to give you the technical of it, this half of the gap from this point here to the top, he would mark that into the half of that half, right? So the top half, and there's another gap there. So you can get really nitty gritty with this, and so price can go up into the other half of the gap. And so this is how precise he gets with this stuff. But when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it in a different way, and in the different way is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. So once I can see this structure playing out, I know where I am. So this pullback here, from that pullback, I can see a 1, 2, 3 here. So I can see another 1, 2, 3. So all I'm looking for is my structure to play out. And the structure is structure within structure. So I know it's maybe crazy what I'm saying, but this is what's going on. So from this low, I'm looking for this. So at this low here, I'm looking for that movement. So there it is. Once I see it and I get a pullback, I can enter. So now what am I looking for? I'm looking for this leg move here to come to a peak. So that's my 1, that's my 2, there's my number 3 point. And now I'm looking for a pullback into 4. And I didn't realize I thought maybe this could be the top at this point, and thinking that we could come back down, but I was only at this point. So I realized that once they decided to come back in and take out this high in here. So now that we're
your
done
point
that
number
move,
3 is at 162%.
at this point here,
Yeah, your point 3, yeah.
and that's perfect. Perfect for this 1, 2, 3. So boom, retrace, and now we're getting that last leg. So I'm in the last leg of this move. So at this point, we've taken out this guy, and we're moving into the last leg. So now I'm expecting that we're done, and we should be coming back with a 1, 2, 3 top to come back down. So this is how we traverse the charts and figure out where we are. But it takes patience. You have to be super patient and wait and wait and wait, because a lot of times you'll jump in and you'll get taken out. So
patience is a hard thing to teach.
Big time. Can't teach patience. It's up to you as an individual, right? So here's Tesla. Same thing, 1, 2, 3. So that we look for that move. Once we get to this point, we would expect that we would go sideways. We don't know if we're going to go sideways this way, we're going to go sideways this way, we're going to go sideways but we expect a chop anyways. And then once we go through that chop, we would expect the high here to be taken out, and that's what's happening. You take out that high. That gives us our structure. So the structure is not always, I draw it like this and it looks nice, but it's not always nice. It can be quite convoluted, and so but that's the key thing is that the structure is there. You can see it. So that's how we play. So at this point here, when we get here, they've swept everybody out. We get another 1, 2, 3. So it's the same thing as, again, like here. We're just doing it all over again, and same movement in there. So at this point, we get up here, we'd be looking for a 1, 2, 3 to come back down again. And that's it. Because our structure is complete now once we get there. So it's that move, and then we look for that. That doesn't always play out exactly the way you expect it, like I say, but that's the general.
Of course, we might not get a wave 5.
And yes, sometimes you don't get that wave 5. So sometimes we don't get the breach of that high, which is, like I say, only about 11% of the time that occurs. It happens to occur. It looks a little more often in the S&P and the NAS for whatever reason. It seems to occur a little bit more frequency. I mean, times have changed since Elliott wrote his 13 rules for his waves, and people have, ElliottWave.com, for instance, they've continued his work through the years and through the decades. They've done a masterful job on that. So if you ever wanted to learn about Elliott, Elliott Wave, ElliottWave.com is where that's at. And I pointed out the wave basis. Wavebasis.com is quite. It's a great site. You can really learn about the structure and the waves, and they give you all the names for all the waves, and it's beautiful site. This site, love that site.
So it's
All
called
right.
ElliottWave.com.
ElliottWave.com is the group that has continued Mr. Ralph Elliott's work.
It's called
That's
Fractal Market Forecast.
that's Mr. Pretcher, not Mr. Pitcher, not George Pitcher, but Mr.
Petra.
Pretcher. Yeah, he's the one that's continued on his work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to get that book from you for Delali.
Yes, no problem.
Maybe I'll send them over or whatever.
So we're looking for a turnaround here. Let's see what Bitcoin did in the interim. Must have done a similar move, and it has. So Bitcoin's move is much more in line with what I would be looking for. This is a beautiful structure. Like, this is just perfection here. So there it is. There's the move. There's the move to the upside. There's the retrace. And now we would expect them to take out this high. And that's as simple as it is. So once we get a 1, 2, 3 here, then this is a play to go back up to take out this high. So that's how you can make money, by understanding that little concept. And it's just very, very simple concept.
On NAS, we're trying to take out the 15-minute or 10-minute, actually, 10 or 15-minute gap. We're almost at the top of it.
This is so picture perfect here. This is just unbelievable. So this is where you would put your fib on, and you're looking for, just to go over this. We're at, oh wow, we're at 15 minutes after the hour already. Okay, so I'm going to call this pretty soon here, but just a quick overview of this move on NAS, or sorry, on Bitcoin. We come down to a low, and then we make this move back up, and looking for a retrace around 50% area. So 50, and it's just an area. So usually 50 to 62% is the area. And then I'm looking for at this point a fractal to enter to go back up. So where am I going? So you can get in at this point, you can get out at this point at the top of your number. So this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3. But in Elliott wave terms, he numbers it as 1 and 2. We just call this movement here our 1, 2, 3. This is our 1, 2, 3. But in Elliott wave terms, it's a 1 and a 2. So wave 1, wave 2, and then you get wave 3. So this is all we want to play is wave 3. We want to get in here and play wave 3. So you don't really want to get out here. You can, of course, but the key is to ride this up to a high. So how do you know where to get out? You can gauge it by previous highs. So let's see if there's a previous high over here. You can look at that. Okay, you can get out there, that type of thing. That's kind of one way. But a better way is to use the fib. So I'll remove that put on the fib expansion tool and on this 1 and this 2 and this 3, and that gives me a target, and my usual target is 1.618. So, so there's my 1.618 target. That's where I would want to be getting out. So I would sit in this trade to that level. Now there's all other targets, 1.414, 1.272, 1.00, you know, so you don't have to go all the way to 1.618 if you feel that you can't make it, or even if you want to take something off right there at the top, you can take something off there. You can go to this one, you can go to that one, that one. My favorite is to go to the top at 1.618. So it takes a lot of moxie to hold on to that trade all the way up there. This is on the 1 minute time frame, so this is going pretty quick. But we used to do this all on the hourly time frame. So we'd look for a 1, 2, 3 on the hourly and then stay in that trade all the way up to 1.618. Very difficult because it takes hours and hours and hours to do it. But it does do it. You know, once you get a proper 1, 2, 3, this never fails if it's a correct 1, 2, 3.
That's the trick, getting a correct 1, 2, 3.
Yes, because once this is painted and you're in and it breaks this level here, it's going to make it to that area. The belief has to be strong that it's going to do that.
So where's NAS going to go to now?
So NAS is still going, eh? Wow. Okay, so 15. All right, so we don't have anywhere else for this thing to go to because this 15-minute gap is it. There's nothing else up here. There is a gap way up here, yes, but I wouldn't really expect them to be going way up there, but anything's possible. So again, I would gauge it on our structure. So I wouldn't think they would come all the way up here. So this gap, they've gone through the midpoint of the gap, and now they've gone through the half of the half, and they're coming up right to the top of it. Wow! So that's quite.
They're at the top of the gap. They went through
quite
the
the
gap.
move here. That's amazing. So let's look at our overall structure again. So I can see right. I mean, you should be able to see right away what they're doing. I think if you can see it, then you understand what's going on, right? What would you be your expectation at this point, George?
Well, down the bottom is 5.
Down.
At this point?
Yeah.
Is this a 3 or a 5?
Well, 5 becomes a 3.
Yeah, so we're at a 3. So we've got 1, 2, and this is our 3. So we're just in a 4th wave now. So we know that we can't expect this to just come straight down and take out this low. It's possible, of course, but we know that we could gyrate in here, right?
Well, you have been gyrating for a while.
No, but I mean, on a bigger picture. Like,
yeah.
This is just one leg. This is basically our A leg, you see?
A leg.
Right? So we could get a B, and then a C, and a D, and an E, and then we could drop, you see? So we don't know what they're going to do in here. So all we can do is go on the first, what we're seeing, and that's it. So at this point, we've had a big run up in this leg, which we call the A leg, because this is our number 3 point. So then we get an A leg. So we could get it. So we can know what's going to happen because of the fact that we have this big, huge 1, 2, 3 here. So I'm going to go back to the 15, make it easier to see. So we can know that if we have a 1, 2, 3 at this point, let me get this here. If we have a 1, 2, 3, which we do, and we drop to this low, then this becomes our number 3 point. So there's our 1, there's our 1, there's our 2. So we know that this is our number 3 point. Sorry for my drawing here. My mouse gets stuck sometimes. Okay, so now we get this move up. So at this point here, because we have a 1 and it didn't do like 1 A, B, C, D, E in here, up here. It's just a straight kind of A, B, C type movement. If it's 1 A, B, C, then here we would expect that we would get a chop. You see? The rule, that's the one of the rules of the structure, that we should chop in here. So we could expect that, yes, this could be our A, and then we could get a B leg to come back down. The B could take out this level, or it might not. And then we get a C leg, which could take out the A leg. And then we get a D leg. So you see, and then we could get an E leg. So this is what is a possibility, and then we get this drop to take all of them out. But this is a possibility in here. They're really pushing this thing up. It's amazing. So quite the move here. So on Tesla, Peter, what was looking like a 1, 2, 3 bottom is holding out on this move up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing I would say is that you have to be super careful about it, because if you look at it from the 5-minute time frame, you think that, yeah, we could come all the way back up, but it doesn't necessarily have to do that. So you have to look at it from a lower time frame, because you can see the inner workings of it. And the inner workings of it says we might be very close to the end of that move now.
Yeah, good analysis.
Right? You see? So on the inner side, it looks like, okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could be getting close to turning around. Just like the NAS and the S&P are looking to turn around imminently here.
That's good analysis, yeah.
So it's tricky stuff. So Bitcoin, again, looking for them to take out this high. They're kind of taking their time about doing it here. They're kind of playing games, but we would expect them to eventually take out that high. They don't have to, but that's what we would expect. So quite interesting here now. So looking for them to turn this around here, George. So one of the things I have on my chart.
And sometime they'll turn it around. They're not there yet.
Yeah. You see these boxes I have on the chart? This yellow creamy box and this kind of greeny box.
Yeah.
Those what I've done is I put this indicator on that gives me the daily candle. So this is a daily candle.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
This is a day. This is quite interesting. If you so this daily candle. So if I go to the daily time frame, this is the candle on the daily is this candle here. So
on the daily candle, you should have two greens followed by a
red. Yes. So what it's showing you is the internal workings of the daily candle, though. So you see that it opened and then it dropped down, came back up, and it's dropped way down. So the candle on the daily would be looking something like this. It doesn't really even have a wick, really, right? Because it opened there and it's basically a tie. So that's what it looks like. And now we'd probably be getting a wick at this side. So if I go up to the daily, let's just do that real quick. That daily candle. So we're getting that wick now. So it was barely a wick at the top. Make it bigger, barely a wick at the top. We drop down. Now we're getting a big wick at the bottom. So back to the 15. That's what it's looking like. That candle, they gave me a little bit of a wick because we opened. And we drop down. Now we're getting a wick. So you can see we're starting to turn now. See that? So now I'd be looking. So there we go. So now I'd be looking for the same thing I was looking for down earlier. This breach of this low, which they have. So ideally, we want to see a close of that candle below this low here. So this was the last low before we had to move up. So looking for that. And this. So that should be happening on Tesla as well. We should be getting the top of this move. So it's the same kind of thing. So there's our 1, 2, 3. So we came through this fourth wave. We swept the low, move up, make a 1, 2, 3, go up, do the same thing again. And now we'll be looking for them to push back into a gap up here and continue down. So it's the exact same type of movement. NASDAQ is doing. Bitcoin probably doing the same thing. Bitcoin's struggling to get back up there, so they might not do it. I notice Bitcoin does this a lot. It doesn't give me that fifth wave. Sometimes it occurs way too often for my liking, but so this is what I will be looking for now, is for this 1, 2, 3 setup to catch this move down. Okay, so there is my low. And I've got a gap, so I can mark this all off just to show you. I don't really have to mark it off, but so there's a gap there. It is an inverted gap as well. So we'd like to see price push back up to that area, and then they don't have to do that though. There's no guarantee that they'll do that, but that would be the expectation. So we still haven't closed below this low, interestingly. So I'll go another 3 minutes and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Gone well over my time here.
Okay.
So let's just see how this plays out. So I would look for a sell. So again, if I was paying attention to it earlier, I would have been able to get in on the 1, 2, 3 at the very top. So you see they moved right back into that area. So that's a sell on that. At that point, I would sell it there. No guarantee that they're not going to go up and take out the high, but so if I look at it on the seconds chart, this is the 10 seconds chart. There was the first 1, 2, 3 on the 10 seconds chart right here. So that's a fractal on the 1 minute chart. So that's why I can enter on that fractal right there. It's the same thing as I'm waiting for this move to enter here. It's the exact same thing as here. It's just on a bigger scale on the 1 minute time frame. So you see they're pushing way up, much higher than I would have expected. So why are they going way up there? Wouldn't expect them to go through this 1, 2, 3 here. So they've come quite a ways up. I'd like to see them come screaming down now. No screaming going on yet.
No, not yet.
So my stop would be above the high in this case, because that's the candle that created the gap. So I don't give them any room up there. I just give them 1 tick above the high, because if they're going to take me out, they just need to go above it by 1 tick. I don't need to give them any more than that. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, give them a whole bunch of room." I don't agree with that. If you're wrong, you're wrong. They're going to take you out. So if they go over by 1 tick, you're out. That means you were wrong. This is not a 1, 2, 3 that I'm looking for. If they go above it by a tick, then I'm wrong. So why give them 10 ticks or 20 ticks or 5 ticks? Just give them 1 tick, because that's it. You're wrong, and you would look for a new 1, 2, 3 to come down.
Looks like we might be forming that 1, 2, 3 top on the 1 minute Tesla.
On Tesla. So yeah, they should be doing a similar thing here. Yeah. So again, right here we had the fractal, the lower high. So that's an entry right there, and that's your risk right there. That's the better entry than waiting for this move, retrace, to come down, because your risk becomes higher by getting in down here.
Yeah, I see that.
And that makes complete sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It is a beautiful thing, indeed.
I wish I had as good eyes as you.
Pattern recognition. Pattern recognition, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so it's after 11:30 Eastern time, so I'm going to call it a day, guys. So thanks everybody for dropping in. Those on YouTube, if you really like this, what I'm showing you, give us a like. And remember, this is just for educational purposes. There's no, not telling anybody to take any trades. There's no guarantee that I'm going to be right. So do this at your own risk. Give us a subscribe to our channel if you like us. And thanks for dropping in. And we'll see
Take
you
care
guys
now. Have a good day.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks, Ryan.
Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
goodbye.
Marquise. Boy, you
Good,
guys were
good.
quiet today. Marquise was here. Armin didn't say a word. Marquise didn't say a word.
I was
Can
focusing
you
on
hear me
church.
now?
getting walloped over here. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
good
catch you guys tomorrow.
analysis there, Lennox.
All right. Take care, Marquise.
I'm saying goodbye now. Goodbye.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
All right. You too. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye now.
Good analysis, Lennox.
Thanks, Peter. Take care.
Good.